channel. As you can probably tell, I look like shit again, but you know, we're actually going to transform this as we're talking about anesthesia. Anesthetic awareness. Before we get into the video, guys, don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel, and also anything that I'm putting on my face I will just link down below. I mean, put in the description box down below, because I really can't be asked to edit it all. Is that lazy? It probably is. Today we're going to be talking about anesthetic, which one is it? Anesthetic awareness. What I'm about to say is fucked up, like literally so fucked up. I just never want to have a surgery in my whole entire life. And sorry if I'm looking this way as well, because that's where my mirror is. But first, just going to talk about, in case no one knows what I am talking about, so anesthesia. I can't. Oh, Dad, what's that thing called?
Oh yeah, that's fucking outside, that thing.
That thing, you know, like where you get put to sleep and like, is it anaesthetic or anesthesia?
Anesthetic. Yes, anesthetic.
Right, okay. Basically, this means that you are aware whilst you are during your surgery, basically, okay? So this is the actual description of it, okay? So awareness anesthetic, also referred to as intraoperative awareness or accidental awareness during general anaesthetic. Patients regain varying levels of consciousness during their surgical procedures. We love that. We love being under the knife and saying, you may die from this procedure, but you also may feel absolutely everything we're now about to stick in you and cut you open. You know, give me the papers and sign. Like, people wake up, right? They're actually awake during their surgery, okay? So they literally are paralysed, so they cannot speak, they cannot move, they cannot do anything, right? But they are awake in their mind. So there's been loads of examples where everyone can hear what is going on around them, and yet no one can hear that they are awake whilst they're getting cut open. Imagine like someone says, pass me that big fuck off cutting thing that we're now about to plunge into her stomach, and then you're hearing that and you're like, fuck, stop, I'm awake. Like, what? You're probably asking now, what, Sophie, are the actual chances of me ever being in this situation? Chances of this happening to you, the studies show 0.1% general anaesthetic patients experience anaesthetic aware. So I'm just going to put this into perspective for you. That is 2,100,000 of 21 million patients just in the US. Okay, so that doesn't sound like a big number, but when you're sitting there and you think 2,100,000 people, that is a lot. Like, I'm not being funny, but that's a lot. Like, why is this not more known or talked about? Like, we're just going to be like, yeah, sign this paper and you might wake up during the surgery. Can you actually die from this? This is where they try to trick you. So basically it just says, like every other single surgical procedure, there is a risk of death. But, you know, unlucky for these people, they're going to feel every single bit. The sad thing about this is that most people who experience this actually suffer with PTSD, and that is post-traumatic stress disorder, which is really, really sad, to be honest, because, you know, they've gone into this surgery thinking that everything's going to be fine, and then they come out with PTSD, and then from this PTSD basically they experience suicidal thoughts, and some of them do actually end up committing suicide, which I probably should have put a disclaimer in then. It's really sad, and you know, these people are literally trapped inside their bodies and they can't do anything about it, which is the most scariest thing, I think. Like, just imagine, like, you're screaming, like, stop, I'm awake, like, you're about to stab something into me, and yet no one can hear you. Another one, you're probably sitting there thinking, right, okay, so you've said, like, all this stuff, but do people actually feel this stuff? So, yes, they fucking do, guys. This is what I mean. Okay, so I read in an article today that basically people, it says, do not feel pain when they experience this, but during researching and watching documents, this is from my point of view, every single fucking person has said that they could smell stuff, they could hear stuff, and they could feel every single thing that was being done to them. So wherever this fucking article is saying, like, they can't feel pain, they fucking do. I don't know whether that's like a cover up. Oh, maybe it is. Tea. You're probably now thinking, like, there must be ways to kind of like prevent this from happening. Like, please, Lord, say there's ways to prevent this. But there is a brain monitoring machine that basically looks at the waves shit in your head and kind of like determines like any brain activity whilst you're under anaesthetic. But listen to this. There is only these machines in only 17% of US hospitals. There wasn't much about UK, to be honest, but we're just going to stick with that. When I read that, I was just like, so basically if you're not in one of them hospitals and you're going for a surgery and they have not got this machine, there is probably a higher chance that they're not going to realise that you're awake during surgery. Why? Anyway, so obviously I hope you're as shook as I am, because this is just fucking weird. Like, but I'm now going to talk about some cases of people who have like told us about their experiences and everything like that, and this is where it just gets very, very weird. So one lady called Katrina Sherwood, and I will link the video down below of her experience as she posted it on YouTube. Basically Katrina goes on to say about how this is the bit that, I don't like this bit, like, so basically Katrina says that when she first got taken in to her surgery place, she was making noises because she could hear the music, and she didn't like the music that was being played, but obviously she didn't realise that she was meant to be asleep during this time. So she starts making these noises, and the anesthetic person comes in, boom, pops her with some more. Anyway, she doesn't come out of this type thing. She is still awake. So at this point, they just think that she's asleep, okay? But she's not. She's still awake. So basically, she explains how she can smell. This is the bit that really fucks me up. She could smell and taste her burning flesh, because I can't remember what she said, but basically there was like some sort of operating thing which helped to burn through the, and mate, she could smell and taste it. She could smell her own flesh, okay? She could literally feel every pull and cut that the surgeon was doing. She said she first was screaming in her head, like, I'm awake, please stop doing this to me. But after a while, she kind of realised that no one could hear her, and she thought, you know, I'm either like gonna die during this, or, you know, I'm just gonna have to experience this whole surgery. And just go watch her video, because I'm shook. Like, you can smell your own burning flesh. As I was researching, I found this story about Carol Weher. I'm going to put her name on screen. I'm sorry, darling, I don't know how to pronounce your surname. Okay, this one is just disturbing, and you'll find out why. Okay, so Carol was having her right eye surgically removed in 1998. She woke up hearing disco music. The next thing she heard was cut deeper and pull harder. Oh my god, Carol, get out. She desperately wanted to scream or even move a finger to signal to the doctors that she was awake, but the muscle relaxant she'd received prevented her from controlling her movements. I was doing a combination of praying and pleading and cursing and screaming and trying anything I could do, but I knew that there was nothing that was going to work, said Carol. The surgical tools didn't cause Carol pain, only pressure. So I'm guessing it depends on the person, if they can feel this pain or if they can't feel this pain. But the injections of paralytic drug during the operation felt like ignited fuel. She said, I thought, well, maybe I've been wrong about my life and I'm in hell. The entire surgery lasted 5.5 hours. Sometime during it, she either passed out or fell unconscious under anaesthetic. When she awoke, she began to scream. All I could say to anyone was, I was awake, I was awake. The last thing I'm going to talk about is basically a movie that started this whole talk about like being awake during anaesthetic, okay? Oh, I'm going to come closer. Hello. Basically, there is a movie that was made in 2007 and it is called, wait for it, Awake. Okay, so basically this poor lad goes into surgery. The whole movie is just about him being awake during his surgery, okay? And it's all from his point of view and everything like that. And I've only watched a tiny bit of it because I'm busy. But I really suggest that you all go to watch it. It will probably give a nice insight into what I'm basically saying. This whole situation it really blows my mind because basically people would be waking up, this was before this movie came out, okay, and they would be telling these doctors like, hey, I was fucking awake during that surgery, like, you didn't give me enough anaesthetic, like, da-da-da, and they'd be like, shut up, you're lying. Like, no one would believe these people were actually, like, awake during their surgery, which I don't really understand why someone would want to lie about that, and especially if a number of people have come forward and said, I was awake. Like, why in your head does that make you think you're lying? Like, I don't understand. Ow. Oh man, that really hurt. Hey y'all. So this is what I look like after I've put makeup on, not very well and very quick. What do you guys think of this video? Like, I want to research more stories about what people have experienced, because to me it's mental that people actually go through this, and to start with, no one ever believed anyone. Like, I am definitely going to be looking at more cases into this. It is mind-blowing to me that, you know, people go under this drug, yet it's not doing the job that it's meant to do. Like, what is that about? Okay guys, that's the end of this video. I hope that you enjoyed it, and I've just done my makeup because I've got someone coming around and I needed to put something on my face to look somewhat presentable. So this is not a usual occurrence for me. Don't get too excited, but I will be back next Sunday with another video, and I will definitely be coming back to you guys with more stories about people going under anaesthetic, because it creeps the fuck out of me.